In America, everyone counts, and the 2020 census is how that great promise is kept. Respond today online, by phone, or by mail, and help inform hundreds of billions in funding for education, health programs, and more. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov. All right, folks, we talk about what is happening in this campaign, the military. One of the issues, huge issue, that is, deals with the military. Close to 500 retired top military and national security officials from both parties have endorsed Vice President Joe Biden. In a letter signed by them, the group called the National Security Leaders for Biden, they said, quote, the current president is not up to the enormous responsibilities of the office. These experts include 22 four-star generals. The letter comes after an endorsement of Trump last week by 234 senior military leaders. Here is an ad that Joe Biden has targeted to the military.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
It should have been easy day. Maybe about 5 minutes, 10 minutes into it, we come under attack. I just make a step. It felt like the blast tossed me maybe about 15 feet. I can remember trying to stand back up. My ears are just ringing, and I'm wondering if I'm going to make it home. I just really wanted a chance to put my arms around my wife and my daughters. Taught me that, you can't take anything for granted. Can't wait until tomorrow to say I love you. I gave 2 legs for this country. I got friends that never came back home. The guys that had their caskets draped with our nation's colors, those are the real heroes. And you mean to tell me you call them suckers? Losers? With all due respect, I think you missed it on this. A public servant is the greatest servant. I need someone in that White House that understands what it means to serve. I know Joe Biden understands the sacrifices that troops make, and that's the guy that I want leading this country.
Joining me now is Ginger Miller. She's the president and CEO of Women Veterans Interactive, Inc. Ginger, glad to have you on Roland Martin Unfiltered. When Trump made Trump made his comments losers in reference to military folks. That's what also led Cindy McCain to come out and endorse Joe Biden. And it's very interesting to see Trump loves to wrap himself in the flag and how he loves the military, how he saved the military. But this is a guy who actually used the fake excuse of bone spurs to get out of serving and literally said, why would these people serve? And I think what's telling is that the person who he made these comments to is General John Kelly, who has not come out to say the story is wrong.
Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for having me tonight, Roland, and thank you for covering this segment. I am appalled. As a Black woman who has served this country, I am totally appalled that the so-called commander-in-chief would come out and call those of us who have served and sacrificed for this country and those of us who continue to serve losers and suckers. Like, I just can't make the connection. And then when you see the video that you just showed, it just brings tears to my eyes to know that this young man came home without legs. And that you have the audacity to call us losers and suckers. We need a commander-in-chief that, number one, has empathy, number one, tells the truth, and number 3, don't hide behind lies. Like, I'm just totally appalled. I've had enough of Trump. It's time for him to go.
Again, when you look at how he even attacks generals, supposedly I got all these generals, but every time someone disagrees with him, he attacks them. He's attacked Mattis, he's attacked McMaster's, he's attacked Kelly. This man does not have any respect for the military.
No respect for the military. He has a disregard for generals. Even when he says the term, the generals, as if it's just like a common term. These men have earned the rank of general. Put some respect on that. He has no respect. He's a sore loser. But what more can you expect from someone who has never served and sacrificed for this country? He doesn't understand. What he wants to do is win, and he'll do anything to win, even take down the troops. There was an issue with Russia where Russia put a bounty on the troops on their heads. Trump has not came out to address that issue.
Yeah, to this day, he hasn't said a word about that at all. Vote vets, they've really been criticizing him in a huge way. Not only that, according to the Military Times poll, more active duty troops say they will vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump. This is the headline right here from Military Times on August 31st. Trump's popularity slips in latest Military Times poll. More troops say they will vote for Biden.
As they should. Every troop should vote for Biden. You can't expect to go to Iraq and Afghanistan and go overseas to serve your country, and then you have a commander in chief back in Washington, D.C., who's putting a bounty on your head, or who's using you for a prop, or who's telling you, oh, when your husband gets killed, well, he knew what he signed up for. Come on, where's the respect? You know, when I think of Joe Biden, I think respect, I think integrity, I think commander in chief, I think trust, I think empathy. I just
Go ahead.
I don't get it. We have a lot of work to do to get Joe Biden in the White House, and we're working diligently night and day to make sure that every veteran and every active duty person votes for Joe Biden. We need a commander in chief that we can trust. Trust is a big issue with Trump.
And again, he cloaks himself in this whole, this whole deal. But how he's also attacked Gold Star families, Khan and others. This is a video that Vote Vets put out. We'll talk about it.
I was 7 months pregnant when Derek deployed to Afghanistan. The day before our son was born, I found out that Derek had been killed in action. Michael never got to meet his father. Chip Roy was one of only 3 congressmen who voted to make Gold Star children, like my son, pay higher taxes on their survivor benefits. I don't think that Chip Roy cares about the sacrifices that families like mine have made.
Vote Vets and House Majority PAC are responsible for the content of this advertising.
I ran that because, again, you're seeing how this attack, again, how they love to put their arms around Gold Star families. Remember the brother who was killed, and his wife said when Donald Trump called, he made it worse. Right.
And I don't understand, where is the respect? Where is the compassion? And when you do things like this, you are lowering the troops' morale. You know, this is some of the reasons why folks don't want to sign up to go into the military, because you don't know what you're going to get. You sign up to serve and sacrifice for this country, and this country is doing nothing to support you. You know, I think it's very disrespectful. That woman in the video, her husband died, and now you want to tax the benefits? Something is definitely wrong with that picture. You know, it's definitely a sad state of affairs, Roland, that we find ourselves in this country. And when you look at everything that's happening now on the prior segment that you just had, when you talked about African Americans, as an African American woman veteran, you know, that's a double-edged sword for me. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, when after I got out of the military, I was homeless, and that's why I do the work that I do at Women Veterans Interactive. And I want a commander-in-chief who's going to have empathy to make sure that no other woman veteran is homeless again. And I know for a fact that Joe Biden will be that president.
All right, then, Ginger, look, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Keep the fight up.
Thank you for having me, Roland. Have an awesome night.
Thank you very much. Amisha, here's the whole deal here real quick. And that is Republicans, again, love to say, oh, how the military supports them. But the fact of the matter is this man has grossly disrespected the military, said he knows more than any general whatsoever. He has countermanded the military chain of command when they tried to punish a Navy SEAL, just gave him a pardon and said how you are not going to take his Navy SEAL insignia. That he does not care about that. He's operating as a dictator.
Yeah, your previous guest was spot on. I think that, you know, you don't have to be in the military to understand the sacrifice that servicemen and women have done for this country. And I think that the Republican Party, by and large, has, just like they co-opted religion, they co-opted the military as only being and serving them, and that, you know, their interests were the ones that were best covered by military service. And I think that Democrats were kind of wrong for allowing that to happen. But what we see with President Trump is a president who himself did everything he could, told every lie he could find, bone spurs, whatever he could pull out of the sky, to not have to serve himself. Meanwhile, demonizing and making fun of military leaders, but also people who've served in the military who have lost limbs. I mean, we know that harsh things that he said and other Republicans have said about U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth. We know that he does not care. We know that this is an administration that promised to help those who are coming back from serving in the military who have mental health issues. And he developed a task force that has yet to reveal any types of recommendations, plans, or any funding towards those who are, in need of mental health services. So everything that he said about the military, he does not live up to. President Trump likes to hug the flag. He likes to rally around it and talk about it. But when the rubber meets the road, the military service men and women current, as well as those who are out now, cannot and are back home in the United States, can no longer trust and can't put their faith in this president because Trump just simply does not live up to the things that he says on his stump speeches and while he's on the campaign trail when it comes to serving the military and making sure that they are elevated to the rightful ownership they have, not only of this country, but also that they get everything that they need when they are returning. And so that they can fully become, full citizens of society.
Rob, here was a video VoteVest put out, a World War II vet, making it perfectly clear about service.
I enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Corps in World War II. I was on Bataan. We fought the good fight with what we had, and it wasn't enough. I was a prisoner of war slave laborer for 42 months. We were forced to perform unbelievably brutal manual labor. That was probably one of the worst conditions a human being can be put in.
He's not a war hero. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
None of the fellows that I served with who are no longer with us are suckers. They are not losers. Donald Trump disrespects everyone who served in the military. What's worse, he lies about it. We need to vote Donald Trump out of office. And we need to vote out any politicians if they continue to support Donald Trump.
Can't get any clearer than that, Rob.
No, it really can't. And, Trump will use anybody, and I've said this on this show, he will run over his mother if it can help him succeed in life. He's a con man. He is good at he just wants to entertain and he wants to keep power, and he will use entertainment, he will use power, and he will use anybody. He'll use this country, he'll use race, he'll use sexism. He will use whatever it takes to keep power and to divide this country. And he thrives on us being divided. And so I hope that more folks in the military understand what's going on. It's not about a Democrat versus Republican. We have a president, as you know, who said he doesn't know if he's going to step down if he loses. I mean, I'm going to take him seriously on that. I don't think he's just saying that. So, I hope that those who do serve, who serve our military, and those who understand service, understand that this man is not about service. He's just about himself.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Unfiltered video in just one round. As our community comes together to support the fight against racial injustice, I want to take a second to talk about one thing we can do to ensure our voices are heard. Not tomorrow, but now. Have your voices heard in terms of what kind of future we want by taking the 2020 census today at 2020census.gov? Now, folks, let me help you out. The census is a count of everyone living in the country. It happens once every 10 years. It is mandated by the U.S. Constitution. The thing that's important is that the census informs funding, billions of dollars, how they are spent in our communities every single year. I grew up in Clinton Park in Houston, Texas, and we wanted new parks and roads and a senior citizen center. Well, the census helps inform all of that and where funding goes. It also determines how many seats your state will get in the U.S. House of Representatives. Young black men and young children of color are historically undercounted, which means a potential loss of funding of services that helps our community. Folks, we have the power to change that. We have the power to help determine where hundreds of billions in federal funding go each year for the next 10 years. Funding that can impact our community, our neighborhoods, and our families and friends. Folks, responses are 100% confidential and can't be shared with your landlord, law enforcement, or any government agency. So please, take the 2020 census today. Shape your future. Start at 2020census.gov.